down the middle, intercepted!
15, 10, 5, touchdown, UMass!
How's it going, Minutemen football fans? I'm Dylan Shalom here with Zeke Altman and Matt Ford-Wellman with the WMUA Summer Football Podcast. Really excited to give you episode 4. The season is just around the corner. How you guys doing?
Doing great. I'm ready. Episode 4. We're already more than halfway through this series. In just a couple of weeks, Dylan and I will be at Rutgers. Then we'll have Sacred Heart at home. Unbelievable. Summer flies by.
Yeah, Zeke, I'm ready to get into the in-season football show and move to some actual football, look at some game film, get into it. But you guys know me. I'm hopelessly optimistic, so that's how I'm feeling.
Yeah, this summer practice run has been so interesting, this training camp. It is steaming outside. It is so hot. But these players, they don't seem to be all that bothered by it. Now, when I talked to Pop Watson earlier today, and we'll get to some of his press conference answers later, I asked him how he's dealing with the heat. He said, the heat is dealing with me. And I feel like that's kind of the energy that all of this team has, where they're just like, it is what it is. We got to play in whatever we got to play in. Let's attack it. But 95 degrees outside. This whole weekend has been so hot. It's tough.
Dylan, see, you're different, right? In your aspect, you're like, oh, it's fine. The heat's dealing with me. I love those kind of quotes. I love those kind of things. That's Dylan Shalom's style of things. For me, it's like, these guys get scholarship. These guys are playing college athletics. They can deal with the heat. They'll be just fine, right? Matt Ford-Wellman, they'll be just
That's
fine.
a good point, Zeke. It's uncomfortable, but let's remember here, these guys might be playing in some early winter snow come late November. So they're going to have a spectrum of weather to deal with, and they better get used to it quick because the season's right around the corner, and I don't expect it to get any cooler than Western Mass.
I heard, Dylan, before we get into it, I heard UMass from a source that UMass were trying to play a day game in Sacramento against Sacramento State. And Sacramento State went back and said, have you ever been to Sacramento in September? Have you ever felt the heat? We are going to do a night game. You guys can come back later at night. We don't care. And that, I think, was the fair answer. So dealing with the heat now is good preparation for when September comes around.
And having Pop Watson have this attitude and the rest of the team seems to be carrying suit, it speaks to what they want to accomplish. They want to be tough. They want to be able to endure conditions. And it speaks to the leadership group that this team has. You look at some of the guys that you have in this team. This is a team with real guys that can go out there and organize and tell people what to do and explain things to the younger guys at a level that it's so important to have this. And it starts with the quarterback, Pop Watson. He is ready and able to be the main man. He said at Springfield, he was always the main man. At Virginia Tech, he was leading the twos. Now at UMass, he's more front and center, but his leadership style has never changed.
Well, I think it's about the guys returning, right? Tyler Martin, Timmy Hinespeeder, Reese Adkins, they were there last year. Now they return. We didn't think UMass would get Reese Adkins back. We didn't think UMass would get Timmy Hinespeeder back. There were even questions about Tyler Martin, a Massachusetts kid. They get all of those guys back, guys that really played well under Harris Simiak, because there were that many guys that played well under Harris Simiak last season. You get those guys back, and it's just a great thing for this team, especially for the tight end room, especially for the linebacker room.
2 Massachusetts natives are huge too. Honestly, I think that's huge for the fan base. Being potential captains, that's just fantastic. And Pop Watson, Coach H has been so adamant that the quarterback has to be a leader. It always does. We all know this. And he's been such a great voice in the locker room so far. Ran the offense really well, and he's a guaranteed leader if this team wants to be successful.
100% agree. And just the emphasis on this tight end room this entire offseason has been so interesting to me because On first glance, stats don't look all that good. It doesn't look super impressive in terms of gameplay. These guys are kind of just like continuations on what was a very disappointing season last year to the blind eye. But if you're looking at it from the perspective of these guys have endured that season, and they were one of, if not the most successful group, all with room to grow and get better, it serves as a very important leadership group to have all of these guys be a continuation from last year, which was definitely a failure, but knowing what went wrong and fixing it going into this year.
Well, the issue last year, Dylan, that you continue to mention, yes, there was continuation, but it wasn't the same continuation. Yes, you guys, they had T.Y. Harding come back. They had Darion Craig come back. But that's not a continuation. There were two different coaching staffs. This year, there's a continuation from the same coaching staff. Now, the next question is, how can they partner with guys coming in? How can a Tyler Martin partner with a Kari Bendolph? How can a T.Y. Harding partner with a Joseph Griffin Jr.? Those are the questions that are still unanswered, and the only thing to answer them is simply this: W's.
Yeah, I mean, Coach H has been so adamant on the front four as well, and there are a bunch of transfers coming in. They're going to have to work really well with guys in the box to hold up that run game. If you can't stop the run, you really can't stop much, and if you can't pressure the quarterback with four, like UMass couldn't last year a whole ton, it's really, really hard to be good on defense. And you put a lot of pressure on your secondary, who are a lot of returning guys and some really key transfer entries. I think there hasn't been enough emphasis on how good the secondary can be. But if they're forced to do everything, I really don't see a lot of success. But the front four is going to be a huge piece of how good this defense can be. And I think really will set some of the tone of if UMass can win. Those guys stepping up and being leaders, being vocal pieces of the locker room, that's that extra bump. That's how you reach a bowl game and you really aspire to have a great second season if you're Coach Harris Imiak.
Having your likely captain and your leader at quarterback, Pop Watson, be a transfer, but not being an unfamiliar transfer in terms of what goes on in Massachusetts football, how to play in this kind of system, I think is very interesting to gauge how the locker room is going to deal with him. I talked to Pop Watson earlier today. Here's what he had to say about it.
I would say let the players play. I emphasize on effort. Like, if you're going out there and, you half-stepping, that's when I get mad, because now it's like you messing it up for the guy next to you. I allow the coaches to coach. I say that all the time. Like, Coach Warner, he'll coach you on your route depth, all of that. You could have a post if you run a dig and you ran it hard. Like, I'm not going to be mad at you. Like, I'm going to just get off you. We're going to fix it. But as long as you give an effort, man, that's all I'd be asking for out of these guys.
For some of the guys on the offense that are keeping you accountable when you're not able to, do everything you want to do?
Everybody, A through Z. If I'm ever flat, I think the first person that come to mind is Matt O. Matt O, I love him. Like, he's a lunatic in his own way. And every time he sees me, I can't have my hands on my hips. I miss a throw, like, he's like, yo, like, you better than that, pick it up. I can miss one throw, he's saying something. So I have a bunch of guys like that around me, and I'm the same way towards them. So I feel like, we got the right head on our shoulders.
Very important to be able to tell your new quarterback, not freshman quarterback, but new transfer quarterback that's supposed to be the star of the show. If you're anyone in the team, hold them accountable. It's very important, and the fact that they're able to do that right now is a very good sign.
For sure. I think holding each other accountable is something I don't want to speculate here, but it didn't feel like they did last year. There was a lot of, oh, it was this guy, oh, it was that guy, Twitter drama, everything going on in the background. It seems different. Now, everyone was saying, oh, the spring practices look organized last year. The team looks better. Now, they were 0-12 last year. How do you get to the next level? How can you put that all together? And it's holding each other accountable. And he talked about Matt O. I'm assuming he's talking about Matt Oguni there.
Yes.
But you can see that that's a tight end holding a quarterback accountable. So it's, cross position. It's not the same position. It's not Aiden McCarthy, Pop Watson. It's Matt Oguni, Pop Watson. So I think it's a collective accountability effort, which is a little bit different from what we saw last year.
Very different from what we saw last year. And if we're being completely honest, this is the first year the staff has fully been able to bring in and build the team they want. I feel like this is a prime example of the new transfer portal era. And, Joseph Griffin Jr. is kind of this emblem of what you can do and what the true Division I football player looks like. It's been mentioned by the coaching staff many times. I think Pop Watson's reaching that point where he's acting like the quarterback that you want to see out of your Division I football program. He's holding guys accountable. He's very he just has a lot of humility, and he can really throw the football, and he can really get to those second plays, and he can be super agile in a conference that is known for having wild card defensive players and really having to adapt week to week. And if we're talking about adaptability, we're talking about violence, which has been something that the coaching staff has really pushed out of all the position groups, really going after the next play. I think Pop Watson's that guy, and I'm really excited to see him play. Hopefully hear about some of the scrimmages they're going to have in the coming weeks, and then obviously see him play week 1.
This is going to be one of the most talented freshman group that UMass have brought in to go along with an impressive transfer list. Considering how bad last season went, the correct steps were made to go and try to compete in a conference that, for all of the unfair criticism that the MAC gets, this is not an easy conference to win in. You look at some of the teams in this conference, the Miamis, the Western Michigans, the Toledos. These are teams that are built for bowl games in ways that a UMass team has not been. So you bring in a really nice freshman class, and they've been doing it for the past few years. Just take a look at some of the recruits that UMass have had in their history. These are some of the best recruits that they've had. And I think it has to do with coming into the MAC. Having these guys learn under the new transfer class is going to be very important.
Yeah, I mean, look at this graphic. These are the top 15 UMass recruits ever, and they have 8 of them on this team. And it's not just one position. It's not just one position coach getting these guys. It's quarterback, defensive lineman, linebacker, wide receiver, defensive back. It's all across the board. So there is no excuse anymore to build a program. This is the core you want. And if you look even past the top 15, you've got guys like David Moore Jr., Samuel Mulba, Justin Lewis, TK Davis, Will McNamara, Donovan Murphy. These are all in the top 25. I could go on and on and on about the roster they have, but this is the best recruiting UMass has ever done. Not just in the last 5 years, not just in the last 10 years, ever. This program has ever done. So no more excuses.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome point, Zeke. No more excuses, absolutely. When you're bringing in and building a culture like they did in this past year and this past spring, you expect some of those young guys to even step up and start knocking on the door of some of the transfer guys you brought in or some of the original players from last year. I mean, we've talked about Kai Owens before. I think there's definitely room for these guys to make it into the two-man deep roster, particularly in the offensive line group. It is a full group, a lot of returners, some key transfers. But you mentioned Will McNamara. If a center goes down, he's second on the depth chart, and that means he might play minutes and get in. And I think that's, just where that depth comes in handy. We experienced a lot of injuries watching UMass last year. We were just, awestruck talking about this team, looking at these freshmen coming in. I don't expect we'll see the same thing, but we might see a couple position groups get a little thin.
We looked at, in the spring, a lot of what Drew Alsop was able to do, and that's someone that's not a super highly recruited player. It's someone that just gritted it out and showed that he's ready to play with these guys. But during the summer, we've been able to see some of these higher recruits, specifically Kai Owens, look really, really good. He has been able to play with anyone that he's been put up against and just really showcase his skill, his speed, and his stickiness. He's been catching everything that comes at him. I've been very impressed with what Kai Owens can do. And offensive coordinator Max Warner has had a lot of good things to say about the freshmen, but he emphasized that it's really still a learning process. There's a lot that goes in to arriving and being new in college football. Let's hear what he has to say.
Yeah, freshmen. I mean, this is hard for them. Freshman's tough, right? Like they're coming into camp. I mean, some of these guys showed up in June and had a chance to go through some of the OTAs. Obviously, the guys that were here in January, had a jump start with being able to go through spring football. But the first training camp for anybody is going to be hard. So it's just about keeping their focus. Keeping them. And working that way.
How do you feel that the freshmen have been acclimated?
I'm starting it from the beginning.
And working that way.
How do you feel that the freshmen have been acclimated?
Yeah, freshmen. I mean, this is hard for them. Freshman's tough, right? Like they're coming into camp. I mean, some of these guys showed up in June and had a chance to go through some of the OTAs. Obviously, the guys that were here in January, had a jump start with being able to go through spring football. But the first training camp for anybody is going to be hard. So it's just about keeping their focus. Keeping them.
Max Warner had a lot to say about how difficult it is to acclimate and become a part of a college football team. This is the first time these guys are doing this stuff. And it's even more difficult for someone that I wanted to talk about coming in internationally. You must have had some of these guys come internationally. Moritz Strempel is a linebacker from Germany that's joining the team. And not only does he have to navigate playing football at a high level for the first time, he now has to navigate playing football in a foreign country for the first time. Very difficult for him to do, but good for him. He's got leaders in his corner. Timmy Heinz-Peter, Tyler Martin. The linebacking group is the most senior and I think the best leadership group on the defense.
Well, there's a lot of guys like that. We saw Keegan Andrews excel at that at a high level last season. Obviously not a different language, but a similar situation. They also had Samu on the offensive line who could play a big role this season. Now you add Moritz Strempel. There are a lot of guys in this group that are dealing with the same thing, but you have to say it's all part of the game. It's a challenge for the coaches to help them acclimate, but it's all part of the game. They have to be able to do that. The players have to be able to do that because once again, those players are here for a reason to help the team win. And if they can't do that, they shouldn't be here.
Could make a special teams play too. Let's be honest here. This depth is so important in the sport of football. And maybe he comes around late season and makes a huge play on special teams, goes down and hits a guy, ball pops out or something. Who knows? The season's long and it is tiring. And having, a diverse squad with great leadership, teaching these young guys is just so crucial.
One of the team leaders, Tyler Martin, we had an opportunity to sit down and talk to him. An interview for him. Really excited to let you guys see what we came out with.
How's it going, UMass fans? I'm Dylan Shalom here with UMass linebacker Tyler Martin. Tyler, how are you doing today?
I'm great, just getting through the summer.
How has the summer been?
It's been awesome. We got a really good group that I'm excited about. Myself being a fifth-year grad guy, been around for a long time. It's nice to see a lot of the young guys trying to, get better as leaders and throughout the summer just because coaches aren't here. It's really player-led, and I think it's been a great summer so far.
How would you describe your leadership style?
I would say I just try to, be understanding. And understand who you're trying to talk to and how you're trying to talk to people because, everybody's different. Everybody takes, coaching from another player differently, and I think that's a big thing as a leader. It doesn't have to be the X's and O's, but just in terms of coaching of trying to get guys to work hard and get guys to sort of adhere to the standard that the older guys are trying to set. So I would just say trying to be as understanding as I can, and whether that's with words or just trying to cheer people on however I can.
How have you felt the linebacker room has progressed?
I think it's been great. We had a couple new transfer guys that came in for spring ball, and then we had sort of 4 of us that were carries over from this past season, and then we added Moritz this summer. So we got a nice group of 8, and I think the summer's been great for everybody. Just the bonding experience. Like I said, when coaches aren't here, everything has to turn player-led, and I think our linebacker room has done a good job. And having guys like myself and Timmy as guys that have kind of been around the block and coming into our 5th year and just know what college football is all about. Having us in the room has definitely, I think, helped that process as well.
What does a successful season look like to you?
I think successful season, is winning. I mean, I don't think I'm not much into like personal accolades thing. I just want to win. That's all I've ever wanted. When I came back here from Arizona like 4 years ago, is this place deserves to win and knows how to win. It's done it in the past, and I think a successful season is winning. I
know you just said you don't care about personal accolades, but how did it greet the team and how did it greet you to find out you're the highest rated player on UMass in NCAA 27?
I mean, it's definitely cool, you know, growing up wanting to be in video games and never knowing if, you know, college football would have that opportunity again. It's obviously cool, but it's one of those things that you come down from that pretty quickly. You know, it's kind of, you get the news, you're like, that's really cool, I'm in a video game and I'm honored to be high rated, but you kind of forget about it as time goes on pretty quickly.
What's your favorite dining hall here?
Oh, dining hall. So Burke is better for lunch and dinner, but Hamp is the best breakfast.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your go-to meal at Burke for?
Burke, I love the deli. So I always just get a sandwich, and then if there's no sandwich, I'm just like a big, just like grilled chicken, some white rice, kind of make my own stir fry. The stir fry sometimes takes too long, so I kind of just make my own.
If you had one song to add to the team playlist, what would it be?
Oh man, one song to add to the team playlist. I would probably go with Mafia by Rod Wave.
Okay. What's one thing that really annoys you?
In a football or just life?
Anything.
Anything. If someone doesn't thank you at an intersection when you let them go.
That's a great answer. And what makes you work?
I just think, you know, what makes me work is just being blessed to wake up every day and understand that, this isn't a job. Like, I love to come here every day and do what I do, and that makes me run every day, whether it's academically, on the field, or just socially. Just feeling every morning like I get to go out and do all these things, and I'm blessed to be a healthy 23-year-old kid and be able to live out my dream. Like, that's really what makes me run.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
I got cut off in traffic the other day, and I thought about that interview answer. Let me in.
There you go. There you go. I mean, if they cut you off, right, and they don't give you the, or you don't, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say. I can't get it out. I talk sports. I don't talk traffic, but you know what I'm trying to say. If you let someone in and they don't give you the, get out of here. Get out of town.
I just hope this defense gets upset about these little things as they do giving up like 3 yards on a run. Like I really just want to see this type of anger. I hope these guys just play so angry this season, so pissed off. That would just make covering the team such a joy and make UMass fans so happy.
Should I start calling the Tyler Martin special?
Yes,
I was toying with the traffic cop.
Because Dylan, I know you and your buddies, when you say bet, now in last year for UMass basketball, you said Betty Ole. So now we're calling it the Tyler Martin special. I think we got I feel like that's a good idea. I feel like it is.
Yeah,
somebody will work into
I
a
like
call
the
now that we said it.
I like the nickname, the traffic cop that you just said, Matt.
I think it's kind of
really
mean.
cold. It's really cold. I like it. Yeah, we'll see if we can work both of those things in. This team's been preaching violence. Glad that we don't see that from them in cars, because that wouldn't be very good. But that's all we've got time for today on the UMass Summer Football Show, episode 4. We got to talk to Tyler Martin. We got to talk freshmen. We got to talk leadership. The season is right around the corner. So glad you guys could stick with us and keep showing up for more WMUA content on WMUA Sports YouTube.